Hey everybody out there in SBSK land, this is the Art of Reading Smoke with Phil Jose. I'm Phil Jose, let's get started. Hey, we're going to look at this video, big building fire, right? And according to the Post, it's an all-volunteer agency, and so they don't have a lot of staffing, and so it's probably beyond their ability to put this thing out. I don't know how big it was when they got there, and as always, you can check out the original video from the link in the post here. And so we're going to look at a couple of things. One is just remember that smoke is fuel, right? We're reading smoke. That's number one concept. And we can see there's a lot of smoke pushing out of this place, a lot of pressure, a lot of turbulent, thick. It's black and or gray. And you notice just even in that little bit of time right there, the color changes pretty dramatically. From just gray to, or more gray to more black, right? The other thing you want to look at is, I might have to pause it here, but look at this doorway, right? And that doorway is completely open, and you'll notice that the air, it's a significant intake for this fire, right? Probably doesn't make any difference in the outcome, but as we're watching it, take a look at that. Right, so a significant amount of fire, significant amount of fuel intake here. What I want to, what's coming up, and I want to sort of take note of is this fire is going to get more ventilated back here. I assume that there's some sort of roof collapse or something like that, and in a very, very short period of time, seconds, we're going to see this change from being exhaust here and intake here to this whole side of the building is going to end up being exhaust. There'll be virtually no smoke coming out of this overhead, even though there's a significant amount right now. And that all takes place in a very short period of time based on a change in ventilation. And so this, I think, is one of those things where we get a chance to see it in this environment where they're working in essentially a defensive capacity. Yeah, look at that door. Look at the intake that door is, right? But what we want to be aware of when we're reading smoke, particularly in events where there's some potential for a change. See, there it goes, right there. Bam. Okay, let's just go back and just watch that one more time. Okay, so keep your eye up in here and then up behind that where you can see the fire sort of grow in the back there. Big intake at that door. The camera will pull out, and it's going to happen right in here, and it happens in a very, very short period of time. See, look at that. Just that change, right? So that's a change in ventilation, in the ventilation flow path, and a pretty significant one. So we have to be aware that as we're reading smoke, those sorts of changes, like that's a dramatic change in the way this is operating. If you have people inside, if you were in the offensive mode, not only would you want to take note of that, right, but that should almost instantaneously, you should be able to understand why that happened and is that in line with your expectations for the event, right? Is that in line with your expectations for the event? If it is, that's great. If it's not, then if you're working on the scene or you're the incident commander, you should have a way to explain that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense, you want to really spend some emotional, or not emotional, but some effort to understand what's happening at this event. What just changed? Why did it change? How does that impact our strategy and tactics? And does that predict a change in strategy? It might. I'm not saying it will or it won't. I'm just saying that you have to be ready to consider when you have that big of a change in your reading smoke pattern in such a short period of time. It's got to at least catch your attention and make you, and give you the opportunity to make an active decision about what's going on at this event. All right. So thanks. I'll put the links in the show notes here for the original video and for who posted it, and for the Art of Reading Smoke here at SBSK. I'm Phil Joseph. I'm out.